Hello there, this is Marco Skills Ecom, and today I want to talk about Twitter ads, how to run them, how to set up tracking, the creatives, the objectives, how to scale, and so on. I'm gonna give you all my gems, what I've tested myself, what I've got from our reps as well. We have pretty high reps to work with, and to start out, I want to talk about why I feel Twitter ads might be a huge opportunity right now. So more than half of the top advertisers stopped spending on the platform. So this is an article from CNN, and I think, in my personal opinion, so last year Twitter didn't offer conversion campaigns, so you only had engagement campaigns and traffic campaigns. So the basically the garbage traffic you can get from traffic campaigns, and they just introduced conversion campaigns, I think, in the beginning of the year. And talking with their reps, I feel they'll do whatever it takes to make the platform as profitable as possible. So, when everyone is moving away from a platform, I like to jump on the platform because, you have a lot lower impression costs, and you can capture new markets, etc. Also, if you run things like CBD, you can get authorized by Twitter to completely run and have no issues in regards to those ads. So without further ado, I'm gonna jump straight into our dashboard. So this is the dashboard. You can see it's pretty similar to, let's say, Snapchat, Pinterest ads, even Facebook ads to some degree. You can find the tracking codes under Events Manager. It's very similar to the Facebook or Pinterest code. And you can see here, this would be the base code. You can copy and paste this into the head section. Let's say if you're using Shopify, that would probably be a liquid theme. You would put this into your head section. Then you can also install via Tag Manager or Conversion API. Because I work with the developer, I've opted into the Conversion API option, and you will have less loss of data that way. Then the next thing you need to do is you have to manually add events as, let's say, add to cart, initiate checkout, purchase, etc. Once you add those events, you can also select the post engagement attribution window, which is basically a click, and then you can also add a view attribution window. As on Facebook, you can optimize accordingly. Then I always go with 7-day engagement, 1-day click. And another thing, I also always include website activity audience. This basically means that audiences will be generated automatically when you turn this on, and then you can use those audiences for retargeting, for example. One thing to note, on Facebook, the audience will automatically populate no matter where you're getting the traffic from. So even if it's search, for example, or Google Ads or whatever, the audience will populate. Whereas on Twitter, it will only populate when the traffic is coming from Twitter ads, meaning the speed of growth of that audience is a lot lower. But with time, you will build out your audiences and you will be able to start retargeting as well. Now we can go into campaign creation. Oh yeah, and last thing, you can also, if you're using Shopify, you can use an app on Shopify Marketplace, which basically does the event setup for you, so you don't have to worry about the codes and stuff. So as you can see, like the campaign objectives are very similar to, let's say, Facebook. If you're just starting out, you can, and with your Twitter page, you can get engagement on your organic posts. You can build out your follower base, but I would always recommend you start out with conversion campaigns. Conversion campaigns are the same as on Pinterest, Snapchat, Facebook. These have been added recently, and that's why I think brands used to drive a lot of website traffic, which is garbage traffic, as you well know from, let's say, Facebook. And I think the reason why we've been getting the same ROI with Twitter ads as on Facebook is the fact that we only ran conversions from day one. Another thing that you can test later on is keywords. So instead of interest-based targeting, lookalike targeting, you can target by keywords. I personally haven't tested this out yet. I will soon, but you can test it out for yourself. And on step 2, you can select a conversion objective, just so you know. But we're gonna go with the conversion objectives straight away. So here you select your funding source. You can opt into campaign budget optimization, which is something I wouldn't recommend. I create a campaign for each, let's say, collection or even product. And if it's working well, I will just, spend on that campaign. And then I don't use, A/B testing, for example. One thing they also added recently is dynamic product ads. You would have to build out a collection for that, like a catalog feed for that, and then upload it into Twitter. From talking with the reps, they said the data is still coming in. They don't have a lot of feedback regarding DPA, but again, if you are the first to something that's in growth, you can reap the benefits of being the first around the table. So I wouldn't recommend starting below $100 per day, as Twitter needs time to optimize. So I'll always go with $100 per day minimum. Always make sure to start after midnight, because that gives the algorithm the 24 hours in a day to optimize itself. You can also select total ad budget per ad group if you're running a CBO, but I would recommend, at least in the beginning, to be very surgical. Just use one campaign, one budget per campaign, or ad set, one ad group, and then have around 3 to 5 ads to test in each campaign. That's something I saw perform the best with my campaigns, and that's also the feedback that I've received from our reps. So here you would select your event that you've installed on the store. So I always opt into purchase straight away. I don't go to add to cart, initial checkout, etc. It might work if you start out with higher funnel events like add to cart, and then run that for a while and then switch to purchase. But that's something I haven't done. I always leave pay by impression, standards, and I would usually leave the first three on. I don't go with replies. And then here is what you can select for targeting. So as you can see, it's very similar to Facebook and the other platforms as well. I wouldn't mess with devices until you get some data in. So the good thing about Twitter is that you have campaign breakdowns. So once you have some data on a campaign, you can go into breakdowns and see which operating systems or device models or zip codes, age ranges, genders are actually bringing in the sales, and you can then start tweaking those campaigns so that the spend goes only where you're getting the best ROI. Then in audiences, you can create an audience, or the audience will be created automatically if you have selected the checkbox for automatic audience creation when you're doing the events. If you have you can also upload an email list, and then you can create a lookalike. So you don't have a lot of options here. You can just select this. And I would just recommend being surgical with audience testing. So I would just test, one lookalike at a time or one interest at a time. What I've seen work well is going with broader targeting options. So anything below 1 million is definitely a no-go. So I at least want to have a few million here. Out of these options, I've tested the interests. I've tested some keywords. A good option to maybe test out as well here. For example, if there are brands in your market that have a good following on Twitter, you can test them here as well. So it would look like this. So this is, let's say you're in the sport niche. You can target follower lookalikes from Nike, and then you would target people who are similar to those who follow Nike, if that makes sense. I'm not in a niche where there would be a lot of big brands present on Twitter, so unfortunately I can't do the follower lookalike targeting. But if you're, let's say, in sports or fashion or something like that, if you can find a certain brand present on Twitter that has a healthy following, you can definitely do that. But if you aren't there, then if those brands aren't on Twitter, I wouldn't do it. Then I would always leave this off because optimized targeting will then go beyond the set targeting you've put here, and I would definitely leave this on. So this is where you can create your ads. Again, what I've seen work well is shorter form videos as on Facebook. You can also select an existing post if you have them as a post ID. So let's say you have an organic post that's done well, you can select that post and then run it as a separate ad. You can select either photo or video. You can create a carousel, as you can see here, and the only thing left is then putting in your the destination of the ad. Definitely test them out. So from talking with the reps, they told me they see static images outperform videos still. However, it's not been the case with my campaigns. I've seen videos outperform statics by a landslide. So make sure to test both. What I would recommend is, if you have proven ads on Facebook or TikTok or Pinterest or whatever, if you have a proven product from those platforms, just go with the lowest hanging fruit and don't reinvent the wheel. Go with what's already converting, because if it's converting on another platform, there is a high probability that it's going to convert really well on Twitter as well. So from my testing, I started out by taking our best performing product, our best performing videos we have for that product, best performing ad copy that we had on Facebook, and then just ran it on Twitter, and that's how we could get pretty good results straight away on Twitter. So that being said, we're gonna jump into optimization. As you can see here, we spent 5.4K on our Twitter ads. We started beginning of April. We generated 2 million impressions, and these are kind of the campaigns that we tested so far. So I want to show you, so the past probably 10 days, we've been profitable. Before that, we were kind of testing just to see what's performing well, and we now know what's performing well for us, and we're gonna keep running those ads. So these two campaigns have been converting well, and you can also set up your where is it? Yeah, so custom presets. I have it as key metrics here. So I have it set up similar to Facebook, where we have impressions spent, campaign starts, total budget, results. And you can see as results, they show you link clicks. So not the event you're optimizing for, as on Facebook, let's say. So these are the link clicks. So I can tell you that on Facebook, our cost per link click is much higher. So we're getting about a $2 to $3 cost per click, per unique outbound click, whereas here it's much lower. We're in a competitive niche, so that's why our link clicks aren't affordable on Facebook. So our developer hasn't set up page views, content views, cart additions, payment info additions, etc. But we do have, actually we should have, we have add to carts, but I don't know if they're tracking correctly, so we only have 10 add to carts, only 10 checkouts initiated, but 20 purchases on here. So we're profitable as long as the cost per purchase is below around $80. So you can see here, we're getting the right cost per acquisition. In terms of optimization, I would recommend when you start a campaign, it's best to just leave it running for 3 to 5 days without any interruption. So that's how I usually do it. I would run a campaign and then, not mess with it at all. I always go with a broad targeting. I have 3 to 5 ads max per campaign. And then after the initial, 5 days, let's say, I would maybe do small tweaks to the campaign. And then, let's say if I were to scale the campaign, I would add 10 to 20% of the daily budget on top of the current daily budget. So let's say we're spending $50 per day. I would scale the campaign $5 to $10 after the initial 5 days, and then you slowly move forward in that direction. Just make sure to not optimize the campaigns too often, because I think Facebook's algorithm is superior to Pinterest, Snapchat, TikTok. So on Facebook you can make a lot of optimization on a daily basis, whereas on Twitter you just kind of have to leave it running, which is oftentimes a bit hard because you might not get the best results on a Twitter campaign, but you have to leave it running. So yeah, leave it running. The recommendation from Twitter from our Twitter rep is to leave a campaign running at least 1 to 2 weeks. I think you can make smaller decisions, after around 5 days, but then when you start scaling up, just make sure to not make changes too often. My rule of thumb is not scaling campaigns each and every day. So let's say I would scale a campaign on a Monday, then on Tuesday I wouldn't do any change to the budget. Then again on Wednesday I would add budget to the campaign, and then on Friday, let's say. So I like to keep the scaling 1 day apart from one day to another, and that's the best way I've seen it perform without messing with the algorithm too much. So that's all from my end. Hope this was valuable. As you can see, Twitter is very similar to Snapchat, Pinterest, and even TikTok. A lot like Facebook as well, just with the exception that it's a lot, I would say, slower in terms of the algorithm, and is not as superior as Facebook yet. So just take your time, optimize slowly, and I think you should be able to see good results if you're starting out with lowest hanging fruit products and creatives that already have been proven on Facebook. That being said, that's all from my end. If you have any questions regarding running Twitter ads, Facebook ads, Pinterest ads, Snapchat ads, Google ads, whatever, you can reach out to me by sending me a DM on Twitter at Scale Your Ecom, and I will be glad to help you out if you need any any recommendations on running ads for e-com brands. And also, if you want to scale your brand, shoot me a message and we can hop on a call. Thank you. That's all from my end, and hope you have